Going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Tuesday, March 19th, 2024, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now, it is 21:53 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Europe. So, Belarus is massing forces on the border with Lithuania and Poland, and I want to just share some of the latest information I have on that. But it appears that Belarus has moved in the past couple of days several hundred tanks and armored vehicles to the border of Lithuania and Poland. And this is coming from open source intelligence information. And we also have the partisans continuing their attacks in Russia, in Belgorod and Kursk. And I want to just update you on that. We currently have several nuclear warplanes in the air this evening. What you're looking at here is a U.S. presidential doomsday plane that was flying over Colorado. And there were two nuclear war command and control planes in the air. And there was also a nuke sniffer plane in the air as well. So, very busy evening for our nuclear forces. And last night we had this doomsday plane up in the air very late at night over the Rockies, and it flew to Colorado Springs, which is pretty unusual. So our nuclear forces are still on high alert. And Vladimir Putin said today about the West in regards to the ongoing war in Ukraine and possible World War III that they don't understand who they are dealing with Russia, with the Russian people. Wow, very strong words there. We also have the chief of staff of the French army saying that the French army is prepared to respond to any threat and that they're ready for even the toughest engagements. And this comes after Russian media reported that they had intelligence information that the French were getting ready to deploy 2,000 troops into Ukraine. And Vladimir Putin said on Sunday that if France were to deploy those troops into Ukraine, that it would cause World War III. Okay, so very strong words coming from the chief of staff of the French army saying that they are prepared for the toughest engagements and they're ready to respond to any threat. Vladimir Putin met with the FSB today, and during that meeting, he ordered an increase in the battle capabilities of border guard units on land and at sea, including at the Black Sea. So, this is obviously in response to all of the attacks that are ongoing right now in southwestern Russia, these Russian partisans, which are probably funded and trained by NATO and Ukraine, are carrying out massive attacks on Russian territory. I have some more footage to share with you guys of these attacks tonight. They're still ongoing, guys, okay? So if they continue like this, it's very possible that Putin may lash out with chemical weapons or nuclear weapons and create that so-called sanitary zone he's been talking about for so long. Want to just read to you a little bit more about what the French Army Chief of Staff General Pierre Schill said about the French Army's readiness to respond to any threat. French land forces are ready to respond to any threat as they prepare for even the toughest engagement, their commander said in remarks published Tuesday. The statement from Ground Army Chief of Staff General Pierre Schill comes after President Emmanuel Macron said he would not rule out dispatching ground troops to help Ukraine fight Russia. The French army is ready, Schill wrote in an op-ed piece in French daily Le Monde. However, the international situation may evolve. French people can be certain that their soldiers stand ready to respond, he said. Schill said a display of French military capabilities would help to deter any attack on France, to protect itself from any attack, and to defend its interests. The French army is preparing for even the toughest engagements, he said. He quoted the Latin adage, si vis pacem para bellum, if you want peace, prepare for war. This update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply has brought back their 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the discount, you got to use the link preparewithnyprepper.com. And the link is in the description below this video. But this 3-month emergency food supply has a 25-year shelf life. It includes over 2,000 calories per day, breakfasts, lunches, dinners, drinks, and snacks, all contained within 6 rugged water-resistant buckets, and free shipping is included. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get $200 off or 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply. The link is in the description below this video. Free shipping is included. They also have a general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running various discounts. And to get to their general store, you just got to click on the My Patriot Supply logo when you get to preparewithnyprepper.com at the top of the page, and you'll see their general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running discounts here. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply, and the link is in the description below this video. Schill said that France could engage a division of 20,000 troops in a coalition within 30 days and could itself command an army of around 60,000 soldiers by joining other allied nations. So within 30 days, France could spin up a division of 20,000 soldiers. That's what he's saying. And with NATO allies, they could quickly spin up a force of 60,000. Okay, so what he's talking about is if there's some kind of escalation in Ukraine and they have to send thousands and thousands of troops to prevent Russia from taking the capital or taking Odessa, okay, they would send these troops in. And remember that Britain's chief of staff, General Patrick Sanders, said in January that British citizens should be prepared to fight in a potential land war. And Sweden's army chief also said earlier in the year that Swedes have to be mentally prepared for war. And then just last week, the Swedish government told citizens that they have to stock up on food and medicine for at least 90 days because they expect Russia to attack Sweden this year. Okay, so it looks like a war between NATO and Russia is coming, guys. Okay, strong words from both sides. The French army saying that they're ready for even the toughest engagements and they're ready to respond to any threat, saying that they can spin up 20,000 troops in 30 days to deploy to deal with any contingency. Vladimir Putin saying that the West doesn't understand who they are dealing with. And so the situation just continues to escalate day by day. And following the meeting of the contact group for assistance to Ukraine in Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany, the Western allies allocated new military assistance packages to Kyiv, including the supply of artillery shells and missiles for air defense systems. This was stated by Ukrainian Minister of Defense Rustem Umerov. Ammunition is what our warriors critically need. They will be there. This was the main topic of the meeting. Partners announced assistance packages that include artillery shells of 155 millimeter, 152 millimeter, 105 millimeter, and others. There will also be more missiles for our air defense systems, he wrote on Facebook. Okay, so looks like Ukraine is going to be getting something. It's not going to be everything that they need, but at least they're going to get something. Okay. And Italy is against any kind of direct military intervention in Ukraine. This was stated by the Prime Minister of Italy, Giorgia Meloni. And I want to just show you guys what's going on in Belarus here. So yesterday I reported that Belarus has moved their forces and permanently deployed their 19th Mechanized Brigade to the border of Lithuania within 16 kilometers of the border with Lithuania, okay? And this 19th Mechanized Brigade apparently has hundreds and hundreds of tanks and armored vehicles. Okay, so this brigade will be redeployed to the Padalyani village in the Pastavi district. Okay, look at how close that is to Lithuania, guys. Okay, now let me show you all of the equipment that this brigade has: 62 T 72s, 219 combat armored vehicles, 78 artillery systems, 14 air defenses. I mean, this is insane, guys. And all of this equipment is going to be just 16 kilometers from Lithuania. Okay, that is extremely concerning, guys. And they set up a military checkpoint just a few miles into Belarus. If you're coming from Lithuania, they set up a military checkpoint with a T 72 and a BMP covering this main road that goes from Belarus into Lithuania. So this is extremely serious, guys. This is exactly what they did before they invaded Ukraine. And there was a military cargo train that had all these T 72s and BMPs being unloaded just a few miles from the Lithuanian border. So it's very possible that Russia is going to use Belarus to attack Lithuania and create some kind of a hybrid war with Lithuania and open up another front. Here we have a picture coming from Belarus today. You can see all the troops here training, bunch of trucks in the back there. And here we have a picture of the 19th Mechanized Brigade of the Belarusian military, and you can see all these BMPs here. And based on the terrain over there, these BMPs are perfect for that area because there's a lot of water crossings that need to be done. And there's also a lot of densely forested areas, and the BMPs are very light and small, and they can maneuver through that type of terrain. Here we have an open source intelligence map showing all of the troop movements in Belarus. And what's very concerning is if you look at the western part of Belarus, you can see all this activity here, guys, all these blue circles. Look at this. You have 56 sightings of Belarusian military in this area, northwestern Belarus, close to Lithuania and Poland in the Grodno region. Okay. And then down here also near Ukraine, there's a whole bunch of sightings of military equipment, from air defenses to aviation to tanks, armored vehicles. So Belarus is getting ready potentially for an invasion of Lithuania and possibly Poland as well. And obviously, they're going to be supported by Russia when they do this. And Russian air defense shot down 11 aerial objects over the Belgorod region, according to local authorities. Okay, and here we have some video footage from tonight coming out of Belgorod. Let's watch this. This is insane.
Ебать! Ебать! Пизда! Пиздец!
Wow, those are some pretty serious impacts. Let's listen to that again.
Пизда! Ебать! Ебать! Пизда!
So, pretty crazy situation over there. It's basically a full-blown war zone over there in southern Russia, southwestern Russia, near the border with Ukraine. These Russian partisans are destroying multiple tanks each day, Russian tanks. They've destroyed dozens of Russian tanks already. Wow, pretty crazy situation. And the governor of Belgorod said that starting tomorrow, March the 20th, entry into various villages around Belgorod will be limited and roadblocks will be set up. The villages include Kazinka, Glatovo, Gora, Padal, Graivaranovo, and Novostroevka and Bezameno. Okay, so they're now having to set up roadblocks in areas around Belgorod to try to slow down these partisans and prevent any infiltration by these partisans. And the governor of the Kursk region of Russia says that Russian air defense shot down an S-200 missile that was launched from Ukraine, and the debris of the downed missile fell in the center of Kursk. And also, the Russian Defense Ministry is saying that they shot down a Patriot missile over Belgorod. Okay, so very interesting. And I want to just remind you guys what I reported earlier, because it seems like my video from earlier in the day didn't get as many views as I normally get. So, Sergei Narishkin, the head of Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service, claims that he has information that France is preparing a contingent of 2,000 troops to be sent into Ukraine, okay, for a direct combat potentially against Russian forces. I want to just play a little video clip of Lloyd Austin from the Ramstein meeting today. He had some very strong words about the situation in Ukraine.
Let's not kid ourselves. Putin will not stop at Ukraine. But as President Biden has said, Ukraine can stop Putin if we stand with Ukraine and provide the weapons that it needs to defend itself. Ukraine's survival is on the line, and all of our security is on the line. So we will continue to stand together to resist Putin's campaign of conquest, and we will continue to keep the faith with the people of Ukraine. So our message today is clear. The United States will not let Ukraine fail. This coalition will not let Ukraine fail, and the free world will not let Ukraine fail.
So pretty strong words from Lloyd Austin.
Not let Ukraine fail. This coalition will not let Ukraine fail, and the free world will not let Ukraine fail. And with that, we'll pause. Let's not kid ourselves. Putin will not stop at Ukraine. But as President Biden has said, Ukraine can stop Putin.
Putin will not stop at Ukraine. Wow. And here we have some clip from French media earlier today showing the possible locations where French troops would be deployed in Ukraine. And you can see here these cartoon soldiers on the screen. And you can see some of those cartoon soldiers on the border with Belarus, and then some of them along the Dnieper River. So it looks like what France would do is deploy forces along that Dnieper River to prevent Russia from crossing the river and reaching Kyiv and reaching Odessa. And then they would also deploy forces to the border with Belarus to free up the Ukrainian troops that are there so they can go to the front lines. And look at these fortifications that Ukraine is building near Odessa. This is absolutely insane. This is like something out of World War II. Here's some dragon's teeth that they've been laying around Odessa. Okay, so they are expecting Russia to make a move on Odessa. If Russia were to seize Odessa, that would be catastrophic for Ukraine, and it would be the beginning of the end of Ukraine as a nation, as a state, because Ukraine is reliant on their access to the Black Sea for their economy. Okay, they're a huge exporter of agriculture, and if they get landlocked, that's going to crush their economy. Okay, their exports are going to go down by probably at least 50%. I want to just read to you some more details of this massive buildup going on in Belarus near the border with Poland and Lithuania. So this is coming from Open Source Intelligence. During the week, an increase in the intensity of movements of equipment of the Belarusian armed forces was recorded. This was connected with the conduct of the combat readiness inspection and other combat training activities. Transport aircraft and a calibration equipment aircraft of the Russian Air Force arrived in Belarus on March 15th to March 16th. Inspection of the operation of radio technical systems of the Gomel airport was conducted. Now that's interesting because Gomel, if you remember, is very close to Kyiv, and that was one of the launching pads in the beginning of the war. That's where Belarus and Russian forces were deployed from. They were deployed from Gomel and they went south towards Kyiv. Okay, so they're testing radio technical systems at this airport, and transport aircraft from Russia's Air Force arrived in Belarus as well. On March 18th, one of the artillery units of the Western Operational Command began to perform tasks as part of the combat readiness inspection. The unit in question seems to be the Rocket Artillery Division of the 350th Artillery Group. Okay, so the Western Operational Command is the western part of Belarus, and they're talking about these artillery units performing tasks related to their combat readiness inspection. It was reported that today the division marched from the permanent deployment point to the area of training and combat tasks performance near the state border. Some of the units of the 350th Artillery Group are at field drills now, so they moved an entire artillery division to the border of Lithuania. Okay, this is very, very concerning. The following units of the Western Operational Command are taking part in the combat readiness inspection: the 202nd Separate Mechanized Battalion, a self-propelled cannon artillery division, a mortar battery, the 40th Separate Mechanized Battalion of the 11th Mechanized Brigade, and a rocket artillery division of the 350th Artillery Group. Okay, so artillery divisions, mortar divisions, I mean, they're getting ready, guys, okay? So also there were a lot of small and large convoys spotted across Belarus in the past few days. They were spotted in Minsk, Hradna, Zhabrauka, Zaslanava, Gomel, Mazur, Baranovichi, Brest, Slonim, and Jatlava. Okay, so like a dozen cities, people saw convoys, military convoys. Okay, and we're also hearing that one mechanized brigade that was moved to the border of Lithuania is going to be staffed to wartime size. Okay, so they're going to staff this thing to the max. So this is very, very concerning, guys. Okay, according to the Ministry of Defense of Belarus, about 5,000 conscripts were drafted from the reserves. This number is enough to ensure the expansion of the mechanized brigade to the wartime staff number. Okay, so they drafted people into this mechanized brigade to bring it up to what they call the wartime staff level. Okay, so this is very, very serious, guys. Okay, this is clearly a preparation for war. And North Korea's Kim Jong-un apparently was present during a new test of a solid fueled engine for a new intermediate range hypersonic missile. The leader added that the military strategic value of this weapon system is appreciated as important as an ICBM from the security environment of our state. So here we have a picture of that solid fueled engine for their hypersonic missile. Very concerning, guys. North Korea is developing their missile capabilities in leaps and bounds. So that's the latest breaking news that I have for tonight. I will be back tomorrow with more breaking news. I might go live either tomorrow or sometime later on this week. So be on the lookout for that. And until then, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere. Guys, the world is getting crazier by the day. We're on the verge of World War III. The U.S. is drowning in trillions of dollars in debt. Inflation is at an all-time high, and there's no end in sight. So you need to prepare your finances for the future with precious metals. Precious metals are a great way to protect your hard-earned savings and retirement against inflation and the uncertainty of the stock market. Also, precious metals are good to have for the purposes of preparedness, to be able to barter with people for essential supplies if the grid goes down. Every prepper should have at least a small amount of silver coins. The company I trust for my precious metals is Midas Gold Group. Text NYPrepper to 232425 for free information on precious metals. Midas Gold Group is 100% veteran owned and supports veterans through the Wounded Warrior Project. Midas Gold Group will work with you to convert part of your retirement savings into gold or to set up a gold IRA. And unlike many precious metals dealers, Midas Gold Group offers precious metals in small denominations, which is great for preparedness, so you have something tangible to use for bartering when the grid goes down. Precious metals have continuously risen in price over the past 100 years and are considered a safe investment. So text NYPrepper to 232425 for free information and to get started today.